Hey guys. First, are you able to hear me? Can you guys hear me? Yes. Okay, great. Thanks for confirming. I just wanted to know you guys could hear me before I started talking. So yeah, someone here is from Texas, Odessa, Texas. Guys, this week has been a ridiculous week. Um, for the first time, we got temperature down to the single digit. So all of my plants are just frozen crispy. So anyway, today, Lunar New Year is actually yesterday, and usually during Lunar New Year, we give these red envelopes out here as good luck. So I figure I'm going to do a seeds giveaway. Maybe I'll throw it in that envelopes. So to enter, I think I should tell everybody to write a comment in the video. So make sure you write the comment in the video, not in the chat. That way I can use the comment to do a drawing. And then, I'm not sure how many people because that depends on how many stamps I have, but I think it's going to be more than 10 people. And what I'm going to give out is some really interesting seeds that you may have not tried before. And these are very cold hardy plants. And I actually have a few of them growing outside right now. And that is these here. Ah, 1 second, please. No. Okay, so here are the vegetable chrysanthemum. And if you have not seen what vegetable chrysanthemum are, search my channel and you will see these are just amazing vegetable. They're one of my favorite. They're very easy to grow. They're cool weather plants, and they're just amazing. And if you ever make like hot pots and stuff like that, you can use these, and they're just great. So that is one of them, and the other one is another Asian vegetable. This is tatsoi. And so if you look up tatsoi under my channel, you can see these are just beautiful plants. They're easy to grow. They grow really well in the cool months. They grow amazingly in hydroponic, and they also would do well in the summer too. It's crazy. So and those are the two. And then the third one here I have is called Celtic lettuce. And these are another variety of lettuce that can grow in the cool months. And Celtic lettuce are very different from the original, the heading lettuce. Celtic, you grow them for the stems. The stems are the best part of the plant. They grow really tall. The stems get, like about the hand size of your hand, and you cook and eat the stems. You can also use the leaves, but the stems are the best. So if you haven't seen that, you should also look it up. So those are the three um, that I decided to give away because those are some of my favorite plants to grow. They're easy to grow, and I have them growing outside right now in the cold weather. Under the, it's frozen solid. So this morning I came out, my plants were like crispy. When I take the leaves and I kind of break them, they crack like ice. But and that's how hardy they are. So anyway, those are the lettuce. Oh man, thank you for the donation. um, so yes, make sure you guys leave a comment. Oh man, Brad is here. Oh goodness, Brad, that was much appreciated, sir. Brad is a Hidden Harvest Grow Light um, company. So you guys looking for Grow Light, make sure you talk to Brad. He's a regular on the channel, so I appreciate you hanging out and joining us, Brad. Thank you for the whiskey donation. So again, guys, make sure to leave a comment in the video, not in the chat, because I use the comment in the video section to draw some names so that I can mail it out to you guys. Also, because I'm gonna put a stamp on it and then send it off. I apologize that I can't send overseas. So make sure it's U.S. If you have a U.S. address, I will send it there. So that's the rule. So leave a comment in the video and not the chat, and have a U.S. Address. I may include surprises here and there in the some of these lemon starburst seeds maybe, but I'll probably message you guys and let you know. But yeah, so those are the drawing. It's just happy Lunar New Year and happy early Valentine's Day to you guys. Uh, stay safe. The road is crazy. It's iced over, so don't go outside if you don't have to. So yeah, that is the giveaway. And now let's talk about whatever. Maybe I can answer some questions for you guys about anything. Usually, people asked a lot about hydroponic and stuff like that. So also, I have a Instagram account, Khang Starr. So if you haven't seen it, check it out there. I usually post daily, just pictures of stuff that I'm growing, stuff in my grow tent. It's easy to post there. So sometimes I would post a sneak peek of my upcoming projects on Instagram, and then you would see it, in the videos that come up weeks after. Because usually when I record videos, I record it in a span of a month. I film in between, and then I connect them together. That way, you don't have to wait weeks and weeks until to see the next update. Everything I record is usually in one video. You see the beginning and you see the end. And I think that's better for many people because we don't like to wait. Okay, so I'll go to the comment, and I'll try to answer some questions. What's your hottest pepper you plan on growing this year? The hottest one I'm planning on growing is probably the Jay's Peach Ghost Scorpion. Um, Maybe my Starracha Hornet. Those are some of the hotter ones, and I think the rest are going to be the sweet and the medium heat, like the lemon starburst, the peach star kissed, and stuff like that. I also have my first video of the 2021 Grow Series. Uh, I listed all of the ones that I'm growing this year. I'll add a few more. Uh, Again, happy Lunar New Year to people that wish me happy Lunar New Year. Thank you. Let's see. I'm going to try to read some more comments and answer some stuff for you guys. Um, Oh, how do I keep the Lingria so small? Funny questions you asked that because I have one right here. Check this out. You see this? I reuse the cup so they have all kinds of names on it. You see there's the fruits all over the top, and there's more flowers coming out. And I showed this plant before, and it's a really neat variety that I just created. So you see how the flowers kind of curve down? As soon as it becomes a fruit, it points right back up. You see? So all the fruits are pointing upward. Very interesting variety. And I can't wait to taste this because this is new. I have not had it yet, but I'm really loving the way it grows and how productive it is for being so small. So to answer your question, how do I keep it so small? Peppers in general, they will remain small in a small container. So in a solo cup, when it's this size, when the roots reaches capacity, you see, and they start to become root bounded, the plants automatically know that there's no more room to grow, and it will begin to fruit and stay small. So there's really no need for you to do anything to keep the plant small, but you can do additional trimming. Like if it gets too big, you can actually trim the top and it grow out to the side. And you keep doing the additional trimming, and you can keep it contained and small like this. So let me show you how I trim it. And you asked about the Lingria. This is actually the Lingria right here. You see? When there's large leaves that come out like this, I trim those leaves, and they just remain small. And this plant will produce very soon, and it will stay like this. Um, I have an air garden unit right next to my work area, so that's why I'm able to show you this. And this one here is also a Lingria, and this is in a hydro system that are, I just use a shot glass. You see that? And I reuse the shot glass. That's why you see all those different names on it. So this one will remain small because, as I mentioned, once the root reaches capacity and it start to wrap around like this, the plants know that there's no more room to grow. So it will remain small, but you can always do additional trimming. You can top it a little bit if you want to, but you can also cut a few of the leaves, and that will help the plant remain small. You see, I don't only grow peppers in small system, I also grow tomatoes. These are indeterminate tomatoes, but because it's in a small system, and when the roots reach capacity and start to wrap, the plants know that it will not grow anymore. So it will start to push out fruits. But the difference with tomatoes is that once they push out fruits, it push out these clusters, and the cluster need to have room. So that's why it expands out more. And tomatoes is very hard to contain and keep them small because of the way they produce their fruits. And I'm also growing. This is Chinese cabbage, like Napa cabbage. And again, I'm growing it in systems like this. And hopefully this will become, a head. But this is the first time I grow Napa this way, so we'll see. I'm not sure yet. Okay, so those are the things that I'm doing. What is the orange peel for? So I thought the orange peel would repel like fungus gnats, because I found a few fungus gnats in some of my system. But I can't confirm that it does. So it's just there for fun. Really, there's no use to it. Any new crosses I'm excited about? Yeah, I just showed you guys the new crosses here. This is the one I'm excited about. I have not had it yet, so I'm not sure what it's going to be. It's supposed to be a sweet pepper crossed with a hot pepper, and it could be a chocolate. I'm not sure. So hopefully, if it turns out chocolate, it's great. That's what I really want it to be, because it's a sweet chocolate crossed with a spicy chocolate. So hopefully, it stays chocolate. Do you trim the roots? No. I don't trim the roots unless there's root problem and I need to sort of like try to condition it back to normal. But other than that, I don't trim the roots. Uh, if your cracky peppers have leaves curled, it could be multiple reasons. Usually, when peppers curl the leaves, is because they're lacking oxygen. And in a cracky method, that can happen very often because if you fill the water level too high, you prevent the air roots from taking up oxygen, and that would cause the plants to kind of like suffocate. So that is the first sign of curl. And then also, if it turns yellow, and that's exactly the reason. It'll curl and it turns yellow and it'll drop. Another reason would be you could have some kind of pest on your plants. A lot of the times, these mites, I think they're either russet mites or some kind of broad mites. That also could, they feed on the stems and the small part of the leaves, and the leaves kind of curled up, and also you can see that it turns yellow. The plants will become unhealthy. So check those. But most of the times, it's root problem. Oxygen is the main reason, but also adjust the chemical, the not the chemical, but the nutrients. Make sure your nutrients is balanced. Rinse out the roots with fresh water, and then add your nutrients back. But make sure you leave a gap so that the plants can breathe, and that would eliminate some of the curling problem. Uh, Traeger, Mr. Yav. Top it, film it, or let it be. That depends. Usually, when I top or film, that is because I'm grown in a aero garden, or because I'm trying to delay the plants, or because your container is too small and your plant is tipping over. That's usually the reason to top your plants. But if you have a sufficient space, you have you don't need it to be delayed or anything like that. You want to just let it grow, then don't top it. Again, so top it if the plant is too top heavy and it's trying to fall over, or you want to compact plants, then top it. But topping your plants would delay it a little bit, actually maybe a month or so, because it has to grow back from the bottom. So yeah, there's benefits and there's also disadvantages to topping peppers. Paul Feeney, thank you. My whole garden exists because of your YouTube channel. Thank you so much for saying that, because I really, I love doing what I do, and I love it when I hear stuff like that. I want you guys to take, you know, something and just go with it. I hope you, I hope you guys learn something from me. I'm also learning all the time. So, because of the pepper lovers community, I'm always learning something new. And then once I learn something new, I'll share it right back with you guys. Are you married? Yes, I am married. I have two children. How do you get into growing hot peppers? Hot pepper has always been in my family. My grandfather grow hot peppers, and my parents grow hot peppers, and I guess that's where the passion comes from. We use peppers all the time. I grew it since I was a child. I used to help my grandfather on the farm. He has orchards, with fruit trees and all kinds of stuff that we grow. I used to grow corn, pick caterpillars of peas and stuff like that. So, and that's where the passion and the love for gardening developed. It's really early. How many different hybrids have you made over the years? Oh man, I lost count. Maybe over 20. And there's some that I'm still working on, like, because creating a hybrid require a very long time. So some of the hybrids that I create in the back a while ago, I'm still trying to perfect it and make it better. So I'm still growing some of those, but because I have limited space and limited time, I do it here and there. And that's where the grow room in the winter and the mini systems like these, that's what helped me with my hybrids, because with mini systems, I can grow a whole bunch of them at the same time, and control them and keep them segregated and all that stuff. And because I fear of cross pollination, which is going to ruin the hybrid, because you want to keep the seeds consistent. And this is actually culantro. I show this in most of my live video, but this thing just grow all the time. Every time I cut the leaves to use, it grows right back. And it is just amazing how much culantro you can get from a system this small. And I've been using culantro for the past few months, maybe over 5 months already, from these two plants that I grow. They just produce all the time. So try it, guys. Culantro sometimes could be a challenge to grow, but once you get it going, it's just one of the easiest plants. It just needs a lot of shade and a lot of moisture. Nuka, thank you. Your videos help me so much. Thank you so much for saying that. How far away do you plant pepper for the cross pollination? How far away? Because of limited space, I plant them very close. But what I usually do is, if I want to secure the pure seeds, I pollinate those and then I mark them. It's the same thing as crossing your peppers. You pollinate them and you mark them, or you use like a mesh bag, a really tiny mesh bag, and you cover the branch of the peppers that you want to save. And also, because I grow them indoor, I can control that. I can pollinate it myself, and I make sure that I pollinate that one. And also, I can cover them up once the flower are beginning to open, and that's how I save I make the seeds, not cross pollinate, just to make sure. Okay, let me see if I missed. We have 118 viewers. Thank you guys so much. I didn't expect this many, but I'm glad you guys are here from probably all over the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are. Ponton, hey buddy. I have not grown mushroom. You know, the thing is, when I was young, my parents actually have a mushroom farm. It's crazy. We grow these Asian mushrooms. I think that in our language we call it cat's ear mushroom, and these are what we use in like we dry them as herbal stuff. We put them in desserts and we put them in food and stuff like that. Um, yeah, I used to help my dad pluck those, you know, dig those holes in these trunks of these trees, and then you put the spores in there and you put it into a dark room that is controlled with the right amount of climate and everything. So as a child, I grew a lot of mushrooms, but as for now, I haven't done mushrooms at all because I just can't replicate the condition that they need. So I stick to peppers and vegetables and hydroponic. Tragic magic. Happy Lunar New Year to you too. Hope you guys are having a great year so far. Uh, Chinese New Year is or Lunar New Year is very interesting because every year is a different day. Sometimes in January, sometimes it's in February. So it's pretty cool. What is my favorite hot snacks? Tortilla chips, peanut, etc. I would say spicy jerky is probably my favorite because I love spicy jerky and I enjoy it with a beer. Cheers, guys. My mouth is kind of dry, so excuse me. If you guys have a beer, please join. Cheers. Mark, my Franken pepper tree, I actually got rid of it because um, it had a mite infestation and it didn't look good at all. So this year I'm gonna start over with the actually more planned. I'm gonna plan it better. I'm gonna get a nice variety and I'm gonna graft different varieties that I really want on it. So grafting is so easy in peppers, guys. It's amazing. The success rate that I use with the home, just like stuff that I find around the house, like um, I use a razor blade and stuff like that, and it still works. So if you want to graft peppers, it's very easy. And just started grafting peppers. Actually, no, not peppers. Apples and pears. So I have a bunch of grafts outside right now with my pear trees. I have four different varieties of pears that I'm grafting onto each other. So I may show that this summer coming. Let's see. I'm gonna go read. Um, Troy, you're getting pepper seeds started. Great. I think it's a good time right now. It's almost mid February. So by the time if you start now, it takes around a month or so for your plants to get really nice size, and then late March they may be ready to go outside, depending where you live. Let's see. What do you do for a living? I work in IT. It's very complicated to explain, so I usually say I work in IT. But yeah, that's what I do in my real job. I work in IT, and gardening is my passion. So sometimes you have a stressful day. The best thing to do is go into the garden and and get your hands dirty. It's just amazing. It relieves all kinds of stress, and it makes you so happy. Um, Toki, thank you for making it to the stream. Have you tried any seeds from Pepper Joe? You know what? In the past, I bought seeds from Pepper Joe's before. I never had any issues, but I've heard so many bad things on Pepper Joe's from the people on the community. So I don't know. Usually, I don't buy pepper seeds anymore because I have so many of my own, And I'm also very picky when I grow the seeds. Usually, when I trade with people or stuff like that, I ask them to see the plants. I want to see what it looks like. I want to see the pods and stuff like that. It may not matter, but it mattered to me because pepper plants. The same pepper plant will produce all kinds of different pods. Usually, I select the best looking pods and a bunch of them, and then grow them all out. That's just how I do it. I want to keep mm, my genetics nice and beautiful. That's very important to me. So, um, I guess that's called the natural selection process. I don't know. I usually select a bunch of them, and again, guys, when you grow peppers, you have to grow them from different pods. Don't grow all from the same pods and expect something different. I think it doesn't come out like that. You have to select different pods and grow a few seeds from each pod. Then you get the variations and the good genetics that you want. Okay. Aloha from Hawaii. Man, I would love to visit Hawaii one day. That is on the to-do list. I haven't been there yet. The Morton Garner. Hello, my friend. Thanks for coming to the stream. The Morton Garner has a channel, guys. The Morton Garner Show. So make sure you check him out. He has some really good tips on a bunch of different things like compost and all that stuff. I watched a bunch of his videos. Cheers, guys. How do you grow bell peppers? Bell peppers are actually really easy. Uh, but there are many different kind of bell peppers, and one of my favorite bell pepper variety or similar is the California Wonder Bell. It's a very sweet bell pepper, and another one I don't think is a bell, but it grows kind of like the same is the sweet apple. The sweet apple peppers. Um, yeah, it's like I think that's why they call it sweet apple because it's really sweet like an apple. So usually when I grow sweet apple, I just go into the garden and before it makes it into the house, I've probably eaten the pepper already. So check those out. If you ever grown a sweet apple pepper, try those. It's good. Bell pepper, uh, it's same thing. Usually, majority of the peppers you can be grown in the similar way. First, you need a soil that are nice and soft, so that the roots can move around. You want also to keep some moisture in the soil, but also it depends on where you live. I live in Texas, and sometimes the heat is just too much for some varieties. Excuse me. And for those, I put them in a container because if you put them in a container, when it gets too hot, like up into the 100 degrees Fahrenheit, you can take the container and you can move it. And so that's the advantage of container gardening. You can move it, so that the pepper will have the best condition. So good soil, nice. It can drain well. Also, just peppers don't like to be overfed, so when you feed them, use organic fertilizer, like worm casting, stuff like that. But if you must use the other kind of fertilizer, it's best to use the slow release because with the slow release, sometimes you don't know how much to put. It kind of help reduce the chances of over fertilizing because it kind of like it releases slowly when you water it. So that's the good thing about slow release fertilizer. So let's see. I saw something about Johnny Scoville. Yes, Johnny Scoville did a review on the lemon starburst. Guys, I met Johnny in person. I love Johnny. He's a huge celebrity. I'm a huge fan of Johnny. I love his channel. Very very friendly. That's the important to me because sometimes I watch it and my kid is running in the back. She listens also. So Johnny's channel, you can actually watch it with your kid. and see how he does it. But I think Johnny has like an iron stomach because the way he eats peppers, not many people can do that. So if you love uh, like reviews of peppers of people that can actually eat the peppers and tell you the description and everything about it, Johnny Scoville's channel is one of the best that I've seen because he can actually eat 5 Carolina Reaper and laugh. So it's crazy. So yeah, Johnny also has a hot sauce line. I bought it. I bought this pineapple sauce when Johnny released it, and he said that I bought the very first bottle, and he signed it. I have it. I haven't. I didn't open it because it was so cool. It's the first bottle of his hot sauce, and he signed it. Johnny is like the Michael Jordan of pepper reviewers. How do you grow Jay Peach Ghost this year? Oh yes, I am growing Jay's Peach Ghost Scorpion this year, so make sure to follow. Jay's Peach Ghost Scorpion is one of my favorite all-time peppers. The yellow one, not the red one. The yellow one, because it is such a solid pepper. It's not very hard to grow. It produces a ton of pods. They're beautiful and they are spicy. So if you love spicy peppers, looks beautiful and tastes great. It's just an overall solid pepper. Is a Jay's Peach Ghost Scorpion, the yellow variety. Oh man, I need to read some more comments, guys. I'm sorry if I missed some of your questions. So if you can ask again, and then I'll try it. How do you get rid of ants, which are known to spread aphids? I did a video a bunch of times on how to get rid of ants. I use borax, and so here's the thing, guys. Borax and sugar does not work on all ants. It only works on ants that love sugar. But borax mixed with the other things can also work on other ants. So let's say you want to get rid of those ants that don't eat sugar, like they eat meat. So you can make a concoction of borax with meat, and then the ants will eat the meat and stuff like that. So depending on what your ants like to eat, then you have to make the concoction to match the food that they like to eat. So sugar ants love sugar. That so you do sugar with borax and you get rid of a bunch of them. And so that's one of the best way. But also, guys, the reason you have aphids in your garden, most of the time, okay, so I've noticed over the years, right? In the first year of my garden, I use a lot of fertilizer and high nitrogen fertilizer, and man, I got a huge infestation of aphids, and it's very difficult to get rid of them. So what I did the next year is I reduced the amount of nitrogen, but also I grow all kinds of different plants along with my pepper plants. And what that does is they attract the bees, they attract the wasps, they attract these ladybugs, and then those bugs take care of the problem for me. So I last year I actually didn't um, spray at all. Like I didn't have caterpillars because there's so many wasps in the garden, and the wasps I saw, because I watched them. I have videos, and I usually film everything. And when I see the wasps, I put a time lapse and stuff like that. And these wasps would eat all of the like the cabbage loopers and the um, what is it, the hornworms. They eat a bunch of them, and then some of the ones that are left over, when I spot them, then I get rid of them. But the wasps, man, they're just amazing bugs to have in the garden. They look really scary because some of them are like the size of my thumb. They're huge, and they look very intimidating. But but they don't do much except if they're yellow jackets. So make sure you identify the yellow jackets because those are very aggressive wasps. If you see those, then you want to get rid of those because they will attack you. But other than that, these other like the paper wasps, these I forgot what other names they are. They're huge and they love getting into my pears. They eat all of my aphids. They eat all of the caterpillars, and they're just really, really interesting bugs to watch. Because actually, when they see you, they avoid you. They don't want to get in your way. So when getting stung by those things is nearly impossible unless you mess with them. So yeah, make sure you identify the type of bees or wasps in your garden, and kind of like invite them to the garden, and they will help with a lot of things. Um, I also have a lot of like lace wings. Lace wings are just they make their homes and they don't leave. That's the cool thing about lace wing. They just they just stay around much longer than the ladybugs. Ladybugs come and they may go, but the lace wings they stick around longer. Yeah, coriander and fennel attract predatory wasps. Yes, that's a good point. I did grow fennel a few times, and they also attract some other bugs. But the more type of bugs you have in the garden, you create sort of like an environment that would benefit um, as a whole. So I grow a. So here's the thing, guys. So every season, I love honeybees. I love them to be around. So I noticed that they love uh, uh, basil flowers. Stephen, thank you so much. Steve, thanks so much for the donation. They love basil flowers. So what I do is when I grow basil, I grow 2 or 3 bushes. Then I'll leave one for the bees because when you grow basil, I always pluck the flowers off because when you pluck the flowers off, they grow more leaves. So that's just how basil work. Always pluck the flowers off as soon as you see it. That way the leaves will grow. But I always save 2 plants for the bees. So those are the ones that I allow to flowers. And the flowers of the basil attract a ton of honeybees. So it's really cool. So always grow multiple things, and also arugula. I grow a ton of arugula. If you watch my channel or my Instagram, you will see I post about arugula all the time. I love arugula. So I grow half of the raised bed of arugula, and when they start to flowers, you can eat arugula flowers. They're delicious. But I harvest only half of the raised bed of arugula flowers, and I leave the other half for the bees. And also because the bees pollinate the arugula flowers, then I have more seeds the next season. And the seeds sometimes just drop and they come right back. So yes, I have grown holy basil. Holy basils are really cool. I also grow Thai basils, sweet basil, globe basils, and all kind lettuce basil. I think they're very much the same as the sweet basil. The leaves look really wrinkly. But basils are just amazing because they grow so fast and they produce so many flowers that they will invite the bees. So I always encourage you guys to grow basil because it smells wonderful. Because every time you rub the leaves as you walk by, it is just amazing. And sometimes I kind of like miss that in the wintertime, and then I grow it in hydroponic. Do you grow tomatoes? Yes, I grow a ton of tomatoes. Last year I grow uh, the let's see the sweet chocolate cherry, and here's guys, here's one tomato that I'm growing right now. This is called the blonde Kopfchen. Blonde Kopfchen. I think it's from Germany, I think. And these are very much the same as the sun sugar or the sugar, some kind of sugar tomato. And I grow the sun sugar all the time. I love those varieties because they don't crack that much and they produce a ton. I also grow berries, crazy cherry. And when you talk about massive producer, the crazy berries, crazy cherry, they produce clusters so big and they're like 50 or 60 fruits in one truss. So yeah, tomatoes are cool. Yes, I also grow citrus. I'm growing, man, I hope they don't die, Craig, because right now the temperature is 22 degrees. Last night it was like in the teens, and Monday it's going to be 0 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's way below freezing. For people overseas, 32 degrees Fahrenheit is freezing for us. So last night, I have mandarin, the citrus mandarin, and they can take down to the teens, like the 10 to 12 degrees Fahrenheit. But last night it was so cold, so I had to take the plant and moved it towards the house. I have it in a pot, So my hopefully my mandarin will survive. And yeah, citrus I do grow, and I also grow Persian lime and Myers lemon. So the variety of mandarin I'm growing is called Arctic Frost. It's the coldest the coldest hardy of the mandarin variety that I can find in Texas, because Texas has a really strict law for citrus. It has to be certified, and then you can only buy citrus from our local nursery. You can't go online and buy it because they won't ship to Texas. Hey, the Urban Gardener, my friend, thank you. Guys, the Urban Gardener has an amazing YouTube channel. He deserves so much more views. Some of the stuff that he does, it doesn't, you should watch it. Like documentaries and interviews. I love those interviews. So, visit our friend, the Urban Gardener channel. You love it. Thank you for the donation, my friend. Uh, let's see what else. Spicy tomato. Aubrey, I don't know about spicy tomato. Loren's garden. Oh my gosh, I'm a fan of your garden channel. Thank you so much. There's so many familiar names on here. Um, let's see. Why are you named Khang? Are you from Mongolia? No, Khang is actually my real name. I am Vietnamese. Okay, so I'm gonna try to go back and read some more comments. So if you guys have more comments, please write them again if I happen to miss them. Yes, I'm really excited. I'm glad that you receive Enoch, the seeds that I sent you. Um, uh, Hopefully you will grow them and show them on your channel, because these are some. I sent you some of my favorites. Yes, Lorenz, of course I remember you. Your channel is awesome. I have really good memory, so when I see a name once or twice, I will remember it. Yes, tomatoes are really fun to grow, and I'm also working on a new tomato variety. So I'm gonna show you guys this year. If it comes out great, if it comes out bad, I'm not gonna show it. Tomato, you can cross tomatoes very much similar to the way you cross peppers. It's a little bit more tricky, so it does take a little bit, careful handling. Yeah, so if you guys are in Texas right now, Texas, you know, I have not seen temperature to 0 degrees before. So I think this is the first time I've ever seen temperature this low. Hey, Lee, Lee Carroll, a buddy from Pepper Lovers community. I'm doing great. I hope you're well. On Pepper Lovers community, thanks Lee for the donation. We are doing a contest of growing fatali and also lemon starburst, guys. Come join us and grow with us. It's a really fun grow challenge that we do every year. And of course, every year I probably place last or next to last. So, anybody new can join. It doesn't matter. Yes, Fatalis are amazing varieties. I have the red Fatali and also the yellow Fatali, but I chose to go with the yellow ones because I love the yellow Fatali. It's just the same. It's just a great color, but the taste is very much the same. Uh, do you need to give up on my Reaper plants? I cut it down for wintering in my grow, but it dropped all the leaves. Um, it dropped all of the leaves. Is it because it's not getting enough light? Are you providing it enough light? It needs at least temperature above 45 degrees, and it would stay alive in 45 degrees, but it's better in the 50 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit when you overwinter. So keep it warm, give it a little light. It doesn't have to be like, grow light. You can put a bulb, just a regular bulb, because last year I overwinter my plants with just my garage light. and that should work. Overwintering is really, really easy. Your plants don't need much. They don't need a lot of water because it's so cold. And then also when you cut it back, the plants can't release the leaves, and there's not enough foliage to take up water. So it takes a long time, for you to water. So usually when I overwinter plants, I water once a month. Cara Smith, thank you so much for the donation, my friend. Um, Yes, Chili Chump, Sean, Chili Chump and I just started doing collabs together, and it was amazing. I love working with Sean. We just get on live chat and share information. He has a wealth of knowledge, and he does so many things with his channel, and his videos are amazing, guys. It's almost like a professional video person did a spicy channel. That's how good Chili Chump's channel is. So I highly encourage you guys to check him out if you have not seen his channel. Um, it's really cool. He's from the UK, so he has a different climate than ours, and you can actually learn a ton of stuff with what he's doing. Steve, thank you for the donation, my friend. Wow, 126 people today. I think that's the most I've gotten so far. Hope, thank you for the donation. Wow. Uh, have you tried diatomaceous earth? Yes, I have tried diatomaceous earth for getting rid of fungus gnats. If you have not seen that video, check it out. Diatomaceous earth to get rid of fungus gnats. There's a trick, but it does work. It'll get rid of 90% of your fungus gnats. What you do is, of course, the trick is fungus gnats thrive in moisture. So if you're, let me see, I'll show you. So usually, let's say this is your pot, right? The fungus gnats would lay the eggs at the top 2 inch of the soil. So anytime the soil at the 2 inch level is always, moist and wet, it is a perfect breeding ground for fungus gnats, and they will keep multiplying and multiplying until your room get infested. Um, they don't do too much harm to plant this size, but they do feed on the baby roots of your baby plants. So they do cause a lot of problem for baby plants. But for large plants, all they are is really annoying, and you don't want gnats in your tent. So that fungus gnats is not too bad, but what I do is, again, when the plants get bigger, it will have roots come out to the bottom. So what I do is I feed from the bottom, and I keep this layer dry, and I put diatomaceous earth on top. So what that does is anytime the gnats land on it, it sticks to them, they die. They can't reproduce, they can't multiply. You stop the cycle, you stop the fungus gnats. So that's how you get rid of fungus gnats with diatomaceous earth. If you put the diatomaceous earth over wet soil, the diatomaceous earth becomes wet, it becomes useless. So it doesn't work. It has to be dry soil. You sprinkle on top, and then you water from the bottom. And that's how you get rid of the fungus gnats, and you reduce the chances of them repeating the cycle. So you got to kill the mother gnats that lays the egg, so that and then the new eggs that's already in the soil, once they hatch, they can't have a place to reproduce. They die, and that's how you get rid of them. And it works great. So that is actually the cheapest way. I always have diatomaceous earth because I use an also on fire ants outside. So I always have a huge bag. You can buy a huge bag of diatomaceous earth, like a few pound, for just a few dollars. So uh, that works great. For mosquito bits, okay, so mosquito bits work. They work really, really well. But there's a trick to using it. So mosquito bits, you have to soak it in water, and then use the water to water your plants, and the mosquito bits would kill the larvae of the fungus gnat, so that they can become an adult. But the adult that already fly around can come back in and lay eggs at other places, and they can spread again. So you have to keep watering for, like, a couple of weeks before you get rid of all of them. So don't just water with the mosquito bits, and then some of them are gone, and then you quit, because once you quit, they come right back. You have to get rid of the entire population, because if one fungus gnat live, then the cycle starts over. So the treatment is, you always have to to stay on top of the treatment. And yeah, somebody mentioned neem oil. So when you use neem oil, guys, there's a trick to using neem oil. And what happens is neem is like an oil. It's an oil base. So in order for them to stick to the leaves, you have to put a little bit of soap, and the soap would stick to the leaves, and then you can spray and get rid of the problem. But what happens is when you put soap into your mixture, the soap and then the light or the heat beating down on the leaves, it can burn the leaves. So make sure you spray when the sun is down, or when in your tent when the light is about to turn off. That way, you reduce the chances of leaf burn and all that stuff when you use neem oil. Um, so yeah, all of those treatments do work. The problem is you have to use it right. So I've tested all of them, and they all really works. It's just follow through and make sure you have a schedule. What is the all-time most productive chili plant? The ahi cherapita. Man, that variety grows like a bush, and they produce thousands and thousands of little peppers. I have so many cherapita that I stopped picking. That's how bad it is, because picking those cherapita takes forever. So I would say Ahi cherapita is a heavy producer. Let's see what else. If you're looking for larger varieties that are really heavy producer, um, there's a lot of them are like clusters variety, like um, the lingria that I grew, my own version of lingria. Man, it produced so much. I stopped picking peppers. Ring of Fire. Somebody mentioned Ring of Fire. Those are heavy producer. Uh, have you grown Santaka? Santaka is a Japanese varieties that I really love to grow, because in one cluster you have like 20 peppers, in another cluster 20 peppers, another cluster 20 peppers. It looks really interesting. And they're really decent peppers to cook with and also to eat raw, because they're not very hot. So uh, yeah, those are really heavy producer. Let's see. Last year I grew um, some Eagle Claw White Tie. I got these seeds from one of our friend on Pepper Lovers, and they produce it very heavily. Another one is the if you're looking for super hots that produce a ton, ghost peppers actually produce a lot. They're really heavy producer. It's amazing. So one year I grew the ghost pepper, and it gave out like hundreds and hundreds of pods. It's just one plant was enough for me. But yes, biquinos. Somebody mentioned biquinos. Biquinos are one of my favorite too, because they're kind of like snacking peppers, and you can eat them. They have a little bit of kick, but the flavor is amazing. And when you put them in pickles, like pickle peppers, they're just awesome. Biquinos are called little beak. I think that's what the name. Biquinos are little beak peppers. They're great. I did a review on them already, and they are really heavy producer as well. Sir Wabo says some strain that he has produced more than the original. Wow, yeah, the original ones produce heavy already. So if you have a variety that produce more than the original, that's amazing. Yes, I grow a few Vietnamese pepper. They call it the ức sừng châu. Basically, what that means is the buffalo horn. So it kind of looks like a buffalo horn. So yeah, Vietnamese peppers are great. I grow them because my parents like them. But every year I like to grow something new. So sometimes I grow one year and then I don't come back to it, because there's so many different varieties, and I'm always trying to add new variety each year. So then sometimes I have to kind of like eliminate some of the ones that I grow just to add some new ones. Yeah. So do I find that purple and white peppers are harder to grow? Yes. For some reason, the white peppers variety. So I grew the is it the white? Uh, what is it, the white scorpions or something like that? I forgot, but that one is really tough. Um, the white ghost, I grew the white ghost also, and I had more trouble with the white ghost than I did the regular ghost. It could be because of you know of the genetics, but yeah, the white ones do have trouble. I mean, personally for me, do you think pineapple would do well in hydroponics? You know what? I don't recommend growing pineapples in hydroponic. The reason is it takes forever. Pineapples are very long. It requires a very long, um, process. Sometimes it could take years to get a fruit. So usually, I don't grow. I have not grown pineapple in hydroponic, but I'm not sure if it would do well. I would say it will grow, but it probably won't be as well as soil. Are you doing watermelon again this year? I grow watermelon every year in soil, but hydroponic, I'm gonna do it again this year. Yes, I'm going to grow cantaloupes and hydroponic and also watermelon and hydroponic this year. It's really fun. I mean, a lot of people say, "Hey, why do you waste all that time growing, a few watermelons when you can buy it in store for much cheaper than the amount of time you spent and the electricity you pay?" So guys, the a lot of the times what I do is because I love it so much that is way more. It is worth it for me to do it than to see and find the results and seeing what I'm doing than the amount that I pay in electricity. So I weight the benefits, and the benefit is I'm so happy when I see progress in my plants that it outweighs the cost for me. So yeah, I know it's ridiculous. I mean, the things, I spent on tent, sometimes I buy grow lights and I grow stuff that, it takes forever, but the joy that I get out of doing my experiments and finding out what I can do and push the limits of some of of these plants inside an indoor grow, that kind of knowledge and satisfaction is worth to me much more than cost. So that's the reason why I do that. I just love experimenting. I'm like, you know, a lot of the times, like, hey, can you grow uh, tomato and produce fruits in a hydroponic this size? And I did it. It produced fruits and tons and, not tons, but like 20, 30 fruits of tomatoes. I did tobacco. I grew tobacco in a little setup. I grew Chinese cabbage. I grow radishes. I grow all the things that people think that you may not be able to grow in hydroponic, even mini system like culantro. You know, I've attempted cilantro in hydroponics so many times and failed so many times, but I keep doing it because I said, you know what? I know there's a way to do it. It's just I need to find um, what works best for each type of plant. And so I keep trying until I succeed. So the first year, uh, guys, if you have not seen me grow watermelon in hydroponic using a uh, a solar power pump. You should check the video. I grew a watermelon using the hydroponic system that uses a water pump, air pump that uses solar, and I got a fruit out of it. It's amazing. I couldn't believe that it produced a watermelon. It was so cool. Ponton, yes, I'm trying to teach my kids how to garden. Sometimes I struggle because my wife doesn't like the kids to mess around with dirt. And if they're in the garden with me, they'll come back all messy and dirty, and I get yelled at all the time. So, so yeah, when my little girl come out in the garden when she was 1, oh man, she used I bought her this little gardening tool, and she was beating all of my plants with those tools, and she broke my tomato, and she picked all of the fruits. It was crazy, but I love it. It's amazing. She go out there and pick all my green tomatoes. Every time she sees a green tomato, she pulls the whole thing off. So I lost so many tomatoes and peppers because of her, but it's great. I love having them in the garden. Uh, let's see, guys. I'm gonna read some more comments. I'm sorry if I missed it. Are you going to cross melons? You know, I attempted it. It didn't work. Maybe I'll do it again in the future. You know, a lot of things I'm still learning. I've grown melons for like a few years now. There's a type of melons that I grow every year. It's called the honey kiss melon. Every year I grow those, and it's just an amazing melon type. So delicious and sweet. You know, it tastes like brown sugar. You know that, and it has liquid. Ponton, thank you. I'm glad that your youngest is a girl or boy, so I can address it correctly. Excuse me. Uh, you know, one of the greatest joy for me is sometimes I do a little projects with my baby girl, but you know she loses interest very quickly. So I try to teach her how to do hydroponic plants, and then you know we spend 5 or 10 minutes, and then she'll run off and she won't want to do it anymore. So I try to get her to come back and do some more. Hopefully, I'll get her to have more patience. Have you tried Oriental melons? I think the honey kiss melon is Oriental melons. It's grown in China, so it's amazing. I love that type of melon. So I grow it every year for the past 4 years now. So I collect the seeds, and then I grow it again, and I grow it again, and every year is one of the best kind. So this year I'm going to grow another variety of melon called the Ichiban. It's kind of a cantaloupe variety from Japan. The Ichiban something, I forgot what it is, but I just got some seeds. I ordered it from one of the seeds company. So I'm going to attempt that in hydroponic. Have you tried blueberries? No, I have not grown berries. You know, I don't grow strawberries. I don't grow blueberries and all that stuff because I'm not a big fan of berries. So you know, I usually grow the things that I like to eat. So berries, one of those things. I'm not sure why I ever like berries. I should I should grow more of it, but yeah, I don't grow berries at all. Green onions will survive through freezing weather, frost, temperature, ice, and everything. So if you're growing onions, don't worry, it'll come right back. My onions outside right now, yesterday it froze. Like you can break it and, and the ice will crack. But onions will live right through the Texas freezing weather. So next week, when we get back to the 50s, your onions will be just fine. The rest of the other plants, maybe not. But onions, if you have onions, don't worry. Green, especially green onions, they will live just fine. I have a few onion plants that are 2 years old now. They look ridiculous. They look like you know, those huge leeks. It's no longer good to eat, but it's just massive. What's going on with your rosemary? My rosemary is like a champion right now. It's a huge bush, and I actually cloned the rosemary from a small branch like this, and now it's like a gigantic bush of rosemary. And I wish I would know more people that like rosemary so I can cut them and give it to them because right now I need to prune it and I throw like a tree of rosemaries away because we can't use them all. There's just so much rosemary, and they they can live to 0 degrees right now. So everything is dead basically or frozen. And the rosemary is the only one that's fine. You cannot kill the rosemary. It's really tough. Do you grow radishes? Yes, I do grow so many types of radishes. I grow uh, French breakfast radish, the Fuki, what what is it? These Japanese giant radish. I grow daikon radishes. Um, you know what? I have a mini radish that I'm going to show you. Here we go. This is the French breakfast radish that I'm growing in a little system. You see the little radish bulb right there, and I'm testing this using cotton ball. So I did a video on this recently. So you can actually grow hydroponic using cotton, but I don't recommend it because you know it takes a lot of water, and it could rot your seeds, and also because it's white, so algae can grow. So cotton is really not a good medium, but yeah, you can use it. Got my first Arrow Garden, the Bounty Classic. I have two bounties. It's amazing. I love it. I don't work for Arrow Garden. There's no relations at all. But I've used the Arrow Garden over the years, and because of the Arrow Garden, I was able to do a lot of the crossing projects, a lot of the testing projects. So, for example, like if I want to know how certain plants look before I grow them in the actual garden, I grow them in the Arrow Garden and see what they look like. Right now, I'm growing a Napa cabbage in an air garden. I'm actually having a video recording right now. So in around another 30 days, I'm gonna show you guys. I'm growing, those Napa cabbage is used for kimchi and stuff like that. It grows massive. The seeds are so small, but the plants are like enormous. So one cabbage took the entire air garden. Have you thought about getting AeroGarden Farm? No, because they cost too much, and I can build a DIY unit that works just as well, and I don't need to buy those stuff. It's just too expensive. I think the AeroGarden Farm is like $500. You're using hydroponics, the General Hydroponics or the Fox Farm. Yeah, both of those will work. When you use AeroGarden, because air garden has a moving pump and stuff like that, so I always recommend to people to use liquid nutrients, because sometimes when you use the granular way, it has to melt and stuff like that, then it doesn't melt all the way, and then the bits remain, and when it circles through the pump, it might clog it up. So it's best when you use the air garden, use liquid nutrients. That is the best. That way, you want longevity of your garden and all that stuff. So use things that work the best. Don't use the granular where you have to melt it and dilute it and all that stuff. Yeah, you use Warren. You're using solar cups to grow peppers. Yeah, me too. This is, you know, there are advantages and disadvantages to using solo cups for peppers. And a lot of people like the idea, and a lot of people hate the idea. So the thing is, with solo cups, you know, it's it's cheap. You recycle it because the cups will last a few years. Um, the thing is, the advantage is that if you're only growing one or two plants, solo cups are amazing. It's circle, it's small, and it's cheap, and it's reusable, and it's easy to control. So if you have like 5 plants, it's great. But then when you have like 20 plants and 50 plants, bottom feeding in solo cup is just a mess. So if you grow more than five, don't use solo cups. But it is an amazing way to give your plants boost, because nothing makes your plant grow so fast as feeding nutrients directly to the roots. It's crazy, guys. I actually did a comparison, regular soil and just water, and then nutrients directly to the roots. And of course, you got to you're feeding the plants directly, so it's always going to grow faster. So yeah, solo cup is really fun. It's also it allows me to do so many testing. Like I have, like say for example, I grow two varieties and then I cross them. That's how I create all of my hybrids when I grow them like this. Because in a system this small, it's very easy to control, and you can grow two of your favorite varieties and then cross pollinate. And because you do it inside, in a controlled climate, you always have the better results than outside. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people say, "Hey, Kang, your solo cup idea is terrible." Yes, it's terrible if you're doing like 20 or 30 peppers, but for 1 or 2 pepper, it's amazing. It's a lot of things you can do with such a small system. So, there's always advantages and disadvantages to every grow method or every method in general. Is there a possibility of getting the Kingstar across to Europe? Victory, there's a lot of people in Europe that already has my varieties out there. If you join Pepper Lovers community, you can trade with them, talk to them, and find somebody from Europe that already growing a lot of my varieties. Do you grow any medicinal plants like turmeric? Hey, great question. I do grow turmeric. I actually just I got a bunch of turmeric from my brother, and I just placed them in the soil, and then now the soil is frozen. Hopefully they didn't die. So I'm growing ginger and turmeric. Hopefully they don't die because everything is frozen over right now. I should have waited a little while to put them out, but I got anxious and I couldn't wait. So how can you put your name in the seed giveaway? Make a comment in the video, not in the chat, but make a comment in the video section, and I'm gonna use the comment generator, a random one, and then I'll draw winners. So again, you make sure you have a US address because what I usually do is I put the seeds in a bag, Happy New Year bag, and then I have stamps and I put the stamps on and I send it off. I think I'm gonna do it very soon um, because I want people to be able to grow them in the coming months. Tara, I don't sell seeds, so you know, try go on to Pepper Lovers community and trade. There's always trade happening. You can make a lot of friends there too, and you can always get those seeds. And I always give seeds away in the community, but usually I do it privately because if I tell everybody, then I get a gazillion messages, and so it's very difficult. So yeah, I give seeds out all the time on Instagram and also on Facebook. But again, I don't broadcast it because then people would just bombard it with questions and stuff like that. So it's very difficult. Uh, right. For citrus, so I have a garage. Usually, when it gets this cold, because I grow my citrus in a pot, a big pot, I just take it into the garage, and then every day I just turn on the lights, the garage light, and give it like 4 to 5 hours, and that's all they need. And once the temperature go back to like around 30, 40 degrees, I take them back outside because I'm growing the hardy citrus. They can get really down to like 40 degrees Fahrenheit, sometimes even lower, and then the citrus will live because Texas, we don't get cold weather for long. This week and next week is the craziest I've ever seen in a long time. Usually, we get cold weather for like a week at the most, and then it'll go back up into the 50s or in the 40s. And yeah, this time is crazy. I've never seen 0 degrees Fahrenheit before, so all my plants are gonna be dead outside. Yeah, random. You live in Austin, beautiful city. I love Austin. I love Texas in general. Texas it gets really hot in the summer, but I grew up here, so I love it here. I've lived in Seattle before. I also love Seattle. I live in Washington D.C. before, and I also live in Nashville, Tennessee before. So, I guess everywhere you live, you just find ways to love about certain things. But there's nowhere that I have lived that is like Texas. This is my favorite place. I'm gonna retire here. Dino. Yes, PLC has some amazing people. They're always sharing seeds all the time. There's always a few mean people here and there, but hopefully, they don't get to so many people. But everyone's welcome to join. Be nice. Share your love of growing peppers and all that stuff. Do you like hot pepper ice cream? I've not had it, so I can't say that I love ice cream and I love peppers. Maybe I would like it. Chasing life. If you consider moving to Texas, yes, Texas is the best. Um, it's a huge state. It's just if you live further north, it gets cooler. If you live further south, you may not ever see snow. Maybe once in a blue long while, like this week. So this year I've already seen snow. Usually we see like drizzle, flurries, and then it's gone the next day. The super pecan seeds, I did give those out already. You can trade for those in the pepper lovers community also. I have super pecan is also one variety that also produce like crazy. It's like it's larger than a regular pecan. Man, it packs a huge punch. It almost knocked me out the other day when I ate one. It's crazy. It's very hot. How can you be notified of the stream? I think if you subscribe and hit the bell, I'm really not sure. Usually I'll do it on the weekend, like Saturday or Sunday. And I think if you hit the bell button, it will tell you, right? I'm not sure, but please, yes, please join anytime I have a stream. Usually, I reserve this time to answer all of the questions that I have missed when I upload videos, because usually I upload videos and then I get off right away. I have two young children, so they require a lot of my time. I think my baby is about to be awake pretty soon, so I have to get up pretty soon. As soon as he's up, he basically dictates my free time. So usually on the weekend, like Saturday and Sunday, around 1 to 3 p.m. Central is usually when I go live, and it's only on the weekend. I don't go live on the weekdays. Yes, Texas. We may not have the best looking beaches, but we do have beaches. They're further south, like South Padre Island. It's a beautiful place. Corpus Christi is really nice. If you like huge diversity with all kinds of different foods, then you go to Houston. I love Houston because I've been to San Francisco and California and stuff like that, and the foods are great. But if you've been to Houston, the food will be just as good. You can find everything in Houston, and the prices are really cheap. So yeah, Houston is one of the best places to eat all kinds of different foods that from every nationality. You get Chinese food, Korean food. Those are my favorites. Indian food, basically whatever you want to find. Steaks. We have some of the best steaks, in the country. Oh, Terry, you added me on Facebook. I get on Facebook, I get on and I get off, and my box is full of messages, and sometimes I can't get to them, and people get mad all the time, like, how come I don't respond? It's because I always get on and get off. Sometimes I don't check messages, so sometimes it takes me months to get through. I'm just going down the list, and then usually I check Instagram much faster. I sold you on moving to Texas. Yes, if you're ready for 100 plus degrees Fahrenheit and you don't mind, everything else is great. Why is there no spicy Filipino foods? I think there are. There are so many different spicy Filipino foods. Houston would probably have them. Oh yes, somebody mentioned tacos. Tex-Mex, that's what Texas is known for. And Texas Mexican food, the best you will ever have. There's nothing more authentic than Mexican food in Texas because you can find these places where literally they make the tortillas just like how mother would make them. It's amazing. So Mexican food is great here. A lot of people say, no, Texas is not great. We're just trying to tell people not to move here because we want it all for ourselves. Yes, I speak Vietnamese fluently. I can read and write. I speak, English. I struggle with a few things. My accent, you can hear it sometimes. I used to speak. I'm not going to even mention it because I can understand it really well, but not speak too well. But yeah, two languages, English and Vietnamese. Yes, kids are the best, especially when they give you time. When they stick around and learn things with you. It's amazing. I'm trying to teach my baby how to ride a bike, but she has very, very short attention span. I would love to learn Spanish. You know what? That is one thing I wish I should have done. Took Spanish in more. I took French in middle school, and I should have taken Spanish. I was required to take a foreign language, so I don't know why I picked French. I should have selected Spanish. I would. I wish I speak Spanish, but I know all of the bad words. So Spanish is sort of like the main language in Texas. There's English and Spanish everywhere you go. So I wish I should have done taken Spanish and learned it fluently. Chris, oh man, Chris, you're up still, my buddy. Thanks for joining me, Chris. So Chris is sending me a hydroponic unit that is very similar to an air garden that he built. So I can't wait to get it. And when I get it, I'm gonna show it to you guys. I can't wait to show it off. So yeah, I'm very excited. So it should be on the way very soon. How do you enter the seeds giveaway? Just make a comment in the video, not in the chat, but in the video, and then I'll use a comment picker. I'll pick your comment, and you can win the seeds. Enoch, Chris, and we talked about you all the time, about your channel and how much we love it. We should do a stream together, Enoch and Chris. I think we talked about it, Chris, right? And we should get on together. Yeah, Jillian, I took French. I mean, I didn't regret it because I love French as a language in general. But here, there's not enough people speaking French for me to keep, learning and keeping it. So that was the regret. I mean, I learned the language and then I forgot it. So it's almost like I wasted the time, right? Um, if I have taken Spanish and Spanish is very common around here, I could have used it for all kinds of different things. That was of course you didn't know what you're doing when you were younger. Yeah, we are using a balance bike. That's what I'm trying to teach my kid how to ride a balance bike, and of course she'll ride it for like a few minutes and she's done. Koi, you retain nothing. Oh man, yeah. I think I've always been fascinated by learning different languages because it's just I think when you speak a different language, it opens your mind to different things. Like it almost changed the way you see things. Or I saw this video where this person was speaking in different languages, and she took on the personality of the language she's speaking, and it was just amazing. It's so cool. But yeah, Spanish is one thing that I wish I learned, because I could use it. Yeah, Japanese is also another great language if you can learn it. Um, are you going to pick for UFC 58? Who's fighting? Is it Usman? Usman, right? I love UFC. Have been watching UFCs uh, before. Like back in the day when they had like bare knuckles, when it was just not even legal. So yeah, I've watched UFC very a very long time, and let's see. I'm not sure who's fight. I haven't been keeping up with the UFC recently. So Usman, yeah, and Burns, man, Usman. You got to give it to Usman, because Usman can fight like 10 rounds of 5 minutes and still go. That's the thing. His stamina is ridiculous, and I think that is a huge advantage. So if Burns can go, all of the rounds with Usman, he may stand a chance. But yeah, Usman, he is his stamina is just ridiculous. Yeah, the fight is on is Saturday night. So yeah, you know, because I watched UFC for so long, and over the years things have changed. But one thing that never changed is that you have to have ground advantage. Wrestling is a domination. You need to know wrestling, and Usman is amazing with his wrestling. So in combination of wrestling and the ability to last 10 rounds, Usman, I you know, I don't know. I think I might have to go with Usman. He's a very calculated fighter too. He's very smart. What type of car do I drive? I drive a really old hand-me-down Honda Civic. Uh, the story is really funny. So when my baby sister was in college, I helped her buy the Honda Civic, and after she graduated and she moved on to a different car, she handed it back down to me. So I inherited the car that I helped pay for. So it's amazing. So it's still working great. All you have to do is get you know usual oil change, maintain it well, and it will last forever. That's the thing with Honda. My first car was was a Honda, also a Honda Accord, a very old Honda Accord, and it lasted me forever. And then I got rid of it. I got a truck. I'm a truck person. I love trucks. I bought the very first Titan generation. So Nissan released the Titan. I forgot, back in 2000s something, but I bought the very first version of Titan, and it has so many recalls. I have never seen car have more recalls than the Titan. And we had a then I moved to Seattle, and I gave the truck to my dad. And my dad was like, "I'm not gonna pay for the gas that this thing takes." And at the time, it was like gas was ridiculous amount of, it cost crazy. So my dad sold the truck. But yeah, I need to I'm gonna get a truck again. So the next car is gonna be a truck. I'm a truck guy. Chris, thank you, buddy. Yes, have a good night. We should talk again soon so we can do another stream together. I wish that old Honda stayed around up here. Yeah, I think up north it may be too cold or something. Seattle, I love Seattle. I used to live in Seattle. I live when I was in Seattle. I live on Washington Avenue, and what is it? Fourth and is it Fifth and Washington? That's where I live, right in downtown, next to Chinatown and downtown, right by the fire station. Right, I live right by the fire station, and every morning, I mean, the fire station is basically across the street from where I live, and oh man, it wakes me up all the time. But I love Seattle. I mean, you can walk the entire Seattle town in a day. It's just not that big. Oh, you just live in Renton. Renton, yeah. There's a I love Seattle in the summer because from downtown you can actually see Mount Rainier in the summer, but in the wintertime it's so dark that you can't see it. So when I lived there, there was a really funny joke that I remember. They say that Seattle bought more sunglasses than any city in the United States, and that's because every time the sun comes out, people can't see like they're moles. And then you won't see the sun for a long time after that. And then they put the sunglasses away and they lose it. So they have to buy more sunglasses the next time the sun comes out. So that was the joke when I lived there. Pike's Place, yes, Pike's Place is the best. They have really nice food there too. Um, I love Pike's Place Market. The salmon toss or the fish toss. It gets old when you live there, but for new people that are visiting, they love to see that and they cheered on. It's just amazing. And also the first Starbucks, right? The 1971 or something Starbucks that was there. So it's really cool. The Puget Sound, the beaches. The beach is so rocky, guys. Seattle beaches are not nice at all. If I could breed the characteristic of to my liking, what is the pepper of my dream of making? I would say the heat of the Scotch bonnet, also the flavor, uh, and the taste of the Brazilian starfish, and the shape. I always say the shape of the lemon starburst because I love that shape. Excuse me. You can cross a lot of different varieties, but usually stay to, like, say, um, Baccatum or Bacatum, however you call it. It crosses west with the same variety. Annuum would be best with Annuum. Chinense would be best with Chinense. Chinense with Annuum is a tricky part because it could go one way but not the other. And I've done it before, and it worked. It will work. Like I crossed a Thai with a Scotch bonnet, which is supposed to be impossible, but I did it. What pepper crosser am I working on? This one right here. I have the chocolate Star Scream Sweet with a chocolate linzo. So hopefully this one turns out chocolate. So it's a sweet and a spicy. So we'll see how it turns out. But so far it's looking great. It retains the characteristic of the linzo where it has a huge, crazy stem. The stem is so long. So that's one thing that I'm working on. And I have another one which is impossible to grow. I have a 50 seeds and only one plant sprouted. That is a white Thai cross with the ahi omnicolor. So we'll see how that turns out. I'm really excited about it, but I only have one plant and it's not looking great right now. Okay, all. I gotta get going. Happy Valentine's early to every one of you. I hope you have a wonderful time with your special someone. Also, for those that are celebrating Lunar New Year, Happy New Year to you guys. Make sure to leave a comment in the video, not in the chat, and then I'll use the comment to draw a winner. I think I'll do more than 10. The seeds are here. I'll list them in the description so that you can go back to the videos and look. These are basically vegetables that I grow. They're great. So you're gonna get some of those. Maybe I'll throw in a few some of the hot pepper seeds. We'll see. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. We have a really good turnout today. Thank you. And I will see you maybe next week, either Saturday or Sunday. That's when I usually do the stream. And come have your questions, and I will try to read the comments and answer them all. And bye, everyone.